A Deep Breath of Life from Alan Cohen, and A Course in Miracles, Mastering the Journey of Love, Made Easy. Okay.
Who would like to read the daily one? The calendar. Okay, it's the 14th today.
Okay. Leave the lady at the river. Keep your eye on the road and use your rear mirror only to avoid trouble. 2 monks were walking through a forest when they encountered a woman stranded at the bank of a stream. One of the monks graciously carried the woman across the stream, and the men continued on their way. The other monk fumed for a long time and then blurted out, "You know it's against the rules of our order to touch a woman." "Yes," answered the first monk, "but I put her down an hour ago." Carrying the past with us is always more burdensome than any mistake we have made. Guilt, resentment, and criticism of self or others for past deeds is far more debilitating than a momentary error. Any energy we invest in reliving or resenting the past detracts from the life at hand. The movie The Mission tells of Mendoza, a slave trader who, after murdering his brother, is filled with remorse. In seeking to do penance, Mendoza carries over his shoulder a massive sack of heavy steel weaponry. He climbs a huge waterfall with this weighty burden, only to be met by the tribe from which he extracted slaves. The chief approaches him with a long knife, and Mendoza bares his breast to be slain. Instead, the chief severs the rope to the sack, which tumbles far down to the river below. While Mendoza inflicted a lifelong sentence of pain and misery upon himself, the Indian taught him how to forgive. Are there any sacks of self-inflicted penance you've been carrying? Cut them now and be free. Take from me the pain I have inflicted on myself. Show me the grace I have missed, that I may know your love completely. I take refuge in the peace of this moment, and I am free. Thank you.
That's a poignant one, and it's such a good story. I've heard that in, it's a Taoist story, I think, and from it being a prostitute or whatever, and there's so many different ways they tell that story, but we carry all this junk from us, and sometimes it's generational too. And, we bring these things into our present that have been programmed to us often, and changing that program of whatever it might be, lack, suppression, whatever it could be. It's not my true moment. It's not who I am at this time. So labeling those things, we talked about a little bit of that on Saturday, but getting those things out of our consciousness, it's not an easy job. It's constant work where we can leave this stuff behind. I'm partly Armenian, and in the early part of the 1900s, there was a group of people that tried to absolutely wipe out and exterminate the Armenians. I was not there. I didn't live through that. It's not a part of me, okay? It has happened to people that were related to me, but I am not that, right? I've never been through anything like that in my life. It may affect people that I've, in the past, we have empathy for it, but you know what? I didn't go through it. I can leave that behind. I'm not bringing that baggage with me. Does that make sense to people? We can look at that in a lot of cultures, nearly every culture. No one has been left out of that, okay? So I'm going to read a little bit from Course in Miracles. We'll see how far we go, because this one's a little bit, was this Jesus' comments on the crucifixion, or the use and uselessness of illness? The use and uselessness of illness. Pain is the most apparent in physical illness. When we have been taught, what we have been taught is a fact of life. You get old, you get sick, you die. We learn by word, image, and model. The only sure thing in life are death and taxes. A Course in Miracles disagrees. It teaches us that illness is a choice we make. So is healing. When we find no value in illness and we withdraw our investment in it, it will disappear. If pain and illness are optional, you ask, why would anyone choose them? The answer is perceived payoff. We all do what we believe brings us benefit. Here's some common perceived payoffs to illness. We're not going to read that part because it's a little bit longer. That was a lot of meat in that. The other day we did I see 50 to 70 new people usually a month. Some who are Wayne's in there, right? New people. We had a woman come in with I am this, I am frail, I am sick, I am dying, I want to get off opioids, this, and I am everything. I am. Those are things she was claiming for herself. I have heard those stories before. It's not my first rodeo, that's for sure. When I adjusted her, we were going to get to this level of Atlas adjusting. What's that?
Just to make sure that doesn't fall.
Thank you very much. A light Atlas adjustment, no drop, very little force. I had Adam, since he was a student, doing range of motions of her shoulder, because you said she had a frozen shoulder. I knew what would happen after this, that's why we did the range of motions. And since he's still in school, I figured you'd know how to do them. So,
Try to block it though.
I know it. He did the range of motion with her, and she got all the drama with it. I saw it. The drama goes with it, you know. And so I adjusted her Atlas, and that's it. And I said, that was all you. We usually say that was powerful. That was all you needed. Anything more would be too much for you right now. And I said, go do range of motion with Adam, and she's like, right? Okay, all that stuff. Well, my surgeon in California, and my surgeon in New York, and that surgeon, knowing them all by first names, you know, you get that whole shenanigan. There's power for her for that. I know them and I trust him. And I said, oh, I bet they do very good work. Yeah, I'm sure. And when she saw a glimpse of light in that moment, where we think I'd be here I'd be waiting on the doorstep, I'd prepay for 9 years, I'd bring my whole family in, everything. That's what I would do. Excuse. My husband's very busy, can't take me, I'm on opioids, I can't drive. I'm gonna stay sick. That was my identity, is what she was actually saying, right? This is who my I am is. I get a lot of mileage out of this with my family. We had this talk right after that. I said, and I may have created it, saying it to the universe, but I really wanted to make a point. I don't hold on to everyone. I do not give a crap about PVA, patient visit average. That is for small practices. I would rather tell my truth here, and when sometimes they get a glimpse of light, they're not quite ready for you yet. It's not up to me. I'm not going to force them. Do we chase them down? Sometimes I get concerned though. I'm like, let's just call this person, because I know how ill they really were. We're gonna, you know, I don't call people. We had this discussion the other day.
Trying not to laugh.
I'm trying not to laugh myself. But, you know, a lot of chiropractors, they call people at the end of the day, all their new people. Sometimes we have 10 new people. I do all the exams myself and the adjusting myself, and it's usually Alexandra and I have my exams don't take all day, my adjustments don't take all day, and, you know, I'm efficient that way. I've gone from staff of 7 to be able to do that, down to refine that with she and I. And Adam will tell you, it could be, you know, sometimes, let me tell you, a very well-run office is actually boring. There's not a lot to do. When we have drama, that drama is usually coming from within us, and we're attracting it from the outside. When everything is at ease and runs smoothly, right? When you're growing something in the field, you don't want any drama. You want everything to go the way it's meant to go, and that's it. We had some people sailing. They sail around the country and they stop in here and come in and get adjusted. People do that all the time. And I said, hey man, you guys I bet you're having a lot of fun. You know, or I said something, oh, they have a blast. I don't remember what I said. I said it was something about, he says, if something gets,
Something about too much excitement.
oh yeah, that sounds exciting. Sounds exciting, I
Yeah.
said. And they said, when there's excitement on the sailboat, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Right? It's all about taking it easy, and really the office should not be chaotic. If it does start turning into that, you start to check in on yourself. We've got to look back. Same thing in school. When there's a lot of drama around you, we're creating it. Start letting it go of what it is inside of me that I need to maybe just check in on, right? But I love that woman. I love her husband. the one thing is I'm not in control of them. It was a perfect message at that moment though, of when people really get the light and really see a part of themselves they're not ready for, they'll be in, and sometimes those people refer to you like crazy. They send everyone in, but they're not coming in themselves. It's truly amazing.
We have one client who came in one time, he sent them for x-rays, never even touched them, and I think we've had at least 4 referrals from them.
Yeah,
I have no idea even how
yeah,
that happened.
because we love them. Yeah, you gotta go to these guys.
I mean, I know, but for them, I'm like, that's very interesting.
Yeah, it's amazing, and we expect that.
Mhm.
You know what, I expect referrals. I expect people to come in. It doesn't matter, to me, it does matter if they stay. I want them to stay so I can serve them. I absolutely want them to stay. But if they're not quite ready for what we have, because I tell them the truth. Do we talk subluxation back there? I'm transparent. You come in, you see what I do. Sometimes I get a little wordy. Sometimes I want to just be passionate and shove it down their throat.
No.
Nah. Usually when I'm the most quiet and say, you know, this subluxation is affecting your life, right here. It's affecting how you're functioning. We're gonna adjust those subluxations so your body's holding them and you're gonna work better. Basically that. I don't work and convince. I don't try and convince anyone. I do screenings. I love screenings. Marketing is one of my favorite things to do in chiropractic, and I will help you all be the masters of it, okay? Screenings is an opportunity for me to tell people that are already not in my office what a subluxation is and how chiropractic can help them. And they're attracted to me. I don't have to trip them. I do have them fill out a little bit if things are affecting their life. I show them a little bit of motion, but if someone starts grilling me, I usually say, you know what, when you're ready, I'm here for you. Or, hey, you know what, it's time for me to take a break. If there's no one waiting to get, checked at my booth, I'm just gonna take a break right now because I'm not gonna spend my energy, my life force in trying to convince somebody of something. Do you ever win an argument like that? Can you convince somebody that wants to vote for Hillary Clinton to vote for Donald Trump? Or vice versa? In any way.
That's why I got out of politics.
It's the way to
I was a
go.
science major for 2 years, and I was like, this is pointless.
That's what my degree is in.
Yep.
Poli-sci and international relations, a minor in European history. Everybody just argues their point of view, and no one wins.
You want to be stressed for a living.
That's
Do
exactly
that.
it.
Conflict resolution was one of I was like going towards conflict resolution. And could you, I mean, I couldn't imagine being a mediator through things like that. Oh, yeah, no way.
No.
So that is probably why I made that big switch. I'm not convincing anybody into anything. They'll make their own decisions. That person will feel vindicated actually when they leave. That I know I'm right. I don't believe in chiropractic, still don't, right? But you've just wasted your energy. I like to do fasts. I haven't done one in a little while. I did one recently, and I've had other people, like Sigafus told me this, that he did 21 days, and someone just, said something to him, was trying to convince him or something, I don't remember what it was, but for me, and he just lost his power after that and had to start eating again. I was on a fast, and someone just it was a guy who said, we were chatting, it was like a good, conversation. I told him I was a chiropractor, and he said, oh, I don't believe in chiropractic, blah, 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 and literally just like, I hadn't eaten in 7 days, I was just drinking water, and it robbed me of my power. When you're at that state, it's just very, very apparent. And I realized, even if you're not at that level, at that moment when you've fasted for 7 days, how much is it robbing my energy trying to convince somebody of something, right? It's hard enough with my kids to clean up, right? Alexander's chuckling over there. So, it's powerful knowing your own power. That's extremely important. In chiropractic, knowing who you are, knowing your own boundaries too. It's like, okay, I'm done. Our exam's done here. Okay, I'll see you. Make an appointment I make one appointment for the first visit. If someone's a walk-in, I don't send them out, come back another day. For me, when I do screenings, I make the appointments almost all at the same time. Like I'll put everybody in at 3 o'clock. Because if I'm just starting, when I first started my practice, I wanted everybody all in there at once to look like it's busy, right? People wanna go to restaurants that are busy.
So smart.
And some people will show up
That's so
early,
smart.
oh, excuse me, some people will show up early, some people will be on time, and some will be a little bit late. So it's like a cycle, you know? So I usually do that when I do my screenings. So, but now we just get them in. You could just come in, we're here, and we don't fret over timing. But there'll be a couple of moments, if they come out and the room is packed in here, which it usually is, because when people are moving, you're adjusting people, they don't have to wait around very long. That's why I don't make appointments for that. The first couple of visits, yes, I make a first, second appointment, but we do a scan back here, we're doing an evaluation, they come out and the room's mobbed, and they're like, oh my gosh, yeah, we know you're busy. You know, the experience in that is, it's refining from an hour per person in clinic. It's so much of that quagmire of junk, to learning how to do an efficient evaluation, chiropractic, tell them the story, tell them their care plan, what would be good for them to come in, and expect it to happen. That takes refining work, practice for ourselves, okay? Does anybody have anything to share? Cool. Does anybody have time? Do you have the timing? Let's check real quick, because I want to do the lumbar question.
It is 8:24.
8:24. I'm gonna go get dressed, okay? Just so we can work through this if people come in, because people come early,
Yes.
right? So I'm just gonna put on my clothes, and can you guys hang out a few minutes? All right. Thank you for that.
Yeah, we have so that's the black one in the middle here, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people, when they come in, they walk this way. This is great.
Did you see the one on his truck?
Teaching tool for,
Yeah.
yeah, it's such a good teaching tool for school. If they move, it would be the perfect thing,
Yes,
because then
you
you
can
can.
get it on Amazon,
Well,
and
it
it's
is.
like $6.
So like
Lumbar don't
describing
really have
the
my-
listing,